Hey everybody, I'm Sean.
And I'm Kieran, and this is the Bow River Q&A.
Okay everybody, today's episode, we are back on the Bow River for the Q&A. So we're gonna do a little fishing and we're gonna answer some questions. Beautiful August day out here, and looking at the water right now, the rock snot doesn't seem to be too bad, so that's a good sign. Gonna head down our first set of minor rapids here, the same ones we started out with last year, and today we are once again floating from Carburn to Fish Creek. Should be about a 4-hour float, so let's get it started. You ready? We'll start with our first question here, and this question comes from Rob Smith, who actually asked a number of questions. First one we're going to answer is, now that we're in season 2, what would we have done differently from season 1? Couple of answers to that question actually. The first is related to the GoPro camera. As some of you may know, back in season 1 I actually lost a GoPro camera in the lake because it wasn't secured, and subsequent to that we've put it on a tether and it's attached to my life vest. So if we had known or been thinking a little bit better, we would have done that differently right from the start, and would have made that change that we've made now. The second one's a little bit different, and it's related to the production of our videos. When we first started, we were editing all of our videos with Adobe Photoshop, I think, and Adobe is good and it's got some great functionality, but I was struggling with the quality of some of the videos. There's a graininess to them that just wasn't showing off the same level of resolution that I'm filming in on the GoPro camera, and so I wanted to look into something different. And on the recommendation of somebody, I went to DaVinci Resolve, which is also a popular video editing platform, and I've really liked it. It's a little bit more complicated than Adobe, but it's worked out really well, and it's got some settings that have allowed me to change things up. So hopefully you guys have noticed in our last few videos, I would say the last 5 or 6, the quality has gone up significantly in terms of the resolution, and that really helps out. So we would have used that right from the start, because there's some details missing in those first videos that you just can't see the way they're uploaded right now. And if you're not watching our videos in 4K, I suggest you do, because they are definitely clearer than on normal resolution. Great question.
Okay, so the next question is from David Woodley. He asks, is there any other lakes in other provinces like BC that you'd like to travel to? The answer is yes. Actually, we're planning on going to Duck Lake in BC next year to do some bass fishing, so you can look forward to that.
Awesome. Good one. So from a landmark perspective, guys, if you know Calgary, we're just passing by the Douglasdale Power Station here. A little area of faster flowing water. Not too bad. This area actually has some higher rapids when the water is down a little bit, but right now it's not too bad. So getting through that, our next question comes from Chef Spicy, and the question is, where in southern Alberta can I consistently catch perch? And I wish I knew the answer to that question, because if we knew the answer, we would be there on a regular basis. But I do know that there's some good perch fishing in southern Alberta. A lot of people do it in the winter, ice fishing, because they're just a little bit easier to catch through the ice. One of the lakes that we want to try out for perch fishing is Burnstick, which is just about, I think, an hour and a half northwest of Calgary. And I've heard a lot of people fishing for perch in Burnstick. There's even a few YouTube videos out there. They look a little bit small, but and then, like I said, there's people who do winter fishing. There's even been some people who've told me that they've caught perch consistently in Glenmore Reservoir, if you know the spot, but we haven't been out there to do it. So sorry I don't have any more information than that. I wish we did. If we ever do find some really good consistent perch fishing in the southern part of the province, I will let you know. And if any of you have a lake at least that you'd like to share, feel free to do so. I know most people are pretty protective of their spots, so maybe one of our subscribers or viewers will have some information for you.
So the next question comes from EDC Preacher, and he asks how long it typically takes to get to the lakes that we fish at. Usually it's about 2 hours from Calgary, but if we go on a road trip, sometimes it takes a lot longer. Sometimes it takes 7 to 8 hours, so it just depends on where we're going.
All right, another question. This time another question from Rob Smith, who asked, what's our favorite place to start a float on the Bow River? Again, another interesting question. What I can say is that prior to doing angling spiders, we have never actually fished the Bow before. So we've only actually floated the Bow. Now this is our third time. And twice we've put in at Carbon Park, or the area just across from Carbon Park, near the Auto Mall, which is where we launched from today. And then the third time we launched from Fish Creek Park, which is where we're pulling out today. So I guess our favorite would be that Carbon Park area. It's a nice float through the southern part of the city. You know, there's a lot of good areas where you can pull in if you want to have a break because of some back eddies. You get these nice flat stretches where you can get some good casting in. When we floated from Fish Creek Park south, we found that there was a lot more rapids. Maybe it was the time of year, but so not as many opportunities to fish because we were trying to navigate so much. But maybe as we spend more and more time on the Bow, we'll find other spots.
So the next question comes from Quinn Engel. I don't know if we're pronouncing that right. You'll have to let us know in the comments. He asked, what's our favorite lake to fish? My favorite lake personally was Eleanor Lake, where we went. We caught quite a few fish and had a really good time there.
Yeah, that's a good question. Right now, I would say that's a toss-up for me between Eleanor Lake, which was pretty fantastic, at least from a fishing perspective, and maybe one of my new favorites now slowly is becoming Crawling Valley. Just a great place because of the islands where the kayaks can get in between, and you can catch both pike and walleye. So yeah, we'll probably be getting back to both of those in the future, hopefully Eleanor relatively soon. Nice day here out on the river. The geese are enjoying it as well. All right, we're a couple hours in here. Fishing's been pretty tough today. Nothing yet. We're gonna keep trying, but time for another question. David Woodley had another question. Are there any lakes in Alberta that you really look forward to fishing on? Yeah, there's a few. One of the lakes that we were going to get to this year is a fly-in lake, and we were planning to go on a trip there up by Fort McMurray called Gypsy Lake, and we just didn't get a chance to get there because of all the COVID stuff going on. So that's probably on our itinerary for next year, to try to get up to that one. That's a pike lake in northern Alberta, and I wouldn't mind fishing on Cold Lake someday. A lot of people fish Cold Lake for lake trout, and it seems to be a really good lake for that. So that's another one that I would take a trip to someday when we get a chance. There's probably a lot more, actually, if I think about it. We've barely touched a fraction of the lakes in Alberta. You know, Wabamun, just outside of Edmonton, I wouldn't mind. Seems like there's a lot of walleye there. They're not huge by any stretch, but all the videos I see of people fishing on Wabamun, it seems to be pretty productive. So yeah, lots of places, lots of opportunities for some good fishing in Alberta yet, for sure.
So the next one comes from the Funkin' CT. He asked what's our favorite fish to catch. For me, it's pretty easy. I've only ever really caught pike and walleye. So northern pike are probably my favorite. They fight pretty good, and yeah, they're just fun to catch. What about you?
That's a good question. I think we were asked this last time we did the float down the bow, and I said Dorado or Mai, which fights like crazy, is a saltwater fish, and probably was the funnest fish that I've ever caught in my life. I also was lucky enough a few years ago to go out to the west coast of Canada and go halibut fishing, and we got some, you know, 80+ pound halibut. That was pretty awesome. They don't fight that much. It's kind of like bringing up a barn door from the bottom of the ocean, but it's still pretty awesome to bring in a fish that big. So those are some of my favorites. When it comes to freshwater fishing, there's no doubt it's pike, and that's why we do so much pike fishing. They fight good, and they can be relatively easy to catch if you know what you're doing, and some lakes are pretty plentiful. So good question. Okay, another question here from Rob Smith, and he says in the comments that he heard some rockin' tunes while I was out solo fishing at Badger Lake, and what's on our fishing playlist. First and foremost, that's a good idea. I should create a fishing playlist. Typically anything would be on there. Generally some top 40 stuff, a little bit of country. Big fan of Margarita Song from Luke Bryan right at the moment. Maybe a little Fishing in the Dark, and yeah, anything that's probably popular on the radio. Not too heavy. I like the tranquility of fishing, so you don't want to be having too much that's going to disrupt you a little bit in the peace and quiet. But yeah, I'll have to create a fishing playlist on Spotify.
So the next question comes from Chef Spicy. He's asking if the fishing is better in the upper bow near Cochrane. We can't really answer that because we've only ever fished in the bow in Calgary or south of Calgary, but maybe we'll have to try that in the future.
Well, everybody, just lost one, unfortunately. Little trout. Didn't get it close enough to see what kind, but a small one. The only bite so far for me of the day, and I think Kieran hasn't had one either, so too bad that I lost it. And using my Len Thompson Angling Spiders lure is the only thing that we've picked anything up on today. So we're about, I think, 3 hours in now, coming up on Fish Creek Park here, and about another 45 minutes to our exit point. And yeah, hopefully we can get one here just before the end of the day, but if not, we'll close it out with one last question when we get to the end.
So the last question comes from Grayscale Rainbow, who asks how long it generally takes to make an episode. Usually it takes about 4 to 8 hours for the fishing, and then about an hour for the editing, and 1 to 2 hours for the processing and uploading to YouTube. It's not an enormous amount of time, but it's also not a small amount of time. It does take quite a few hours. So yeah, good question.
Okay, everybody, that bridge ahead is 22X, right here on the edge of Fish Creek Park. This is our exit point, so that's going to do it for today. Just before I close out, I want to do something that we don't normally do, and that's give a shout out to another YouTube channel. In this case, I want to give a shout out to HuyFishing. You know, we try to be a family-friendly channel, hopefully that anybody can watch and provide a good perspective of what it's like to do kayak fishing in southern Alberta. We's doing the same thing right at the moment in central Alberta, fishing out of Edmonton, and also a little bit of a different perspective because he's using a pedal drive kayak. So if you want to see what it's like to catch fish out of a pedal drive, there's a good opportunity to watch some good content there. So just a shout out to HuyFishing for having a great channel, and has also started, you know, watching our channel and commenting, and we greatly appreciate it. So happy to return the favor. All right, guys, this is our pull-out point here at Fish Creek Park. You can see the boat ramp right here. Kieran's just pulled in. We're gonna get out of the water and call it a day. All right, everybody, we're back at home, and as I mentioned, we are going to do the giveaway.
Before we do, I just want to thank all of our subscribers for the questions. I also want to welcome all of our new subscribers. I think we've had 20 in the past few days, which is really good. We're looking forward to that 500 subscribers and that big giveaway, so you can look forward to that too.
Absolutely. So we're gonna get to our trusty hat, as we always do. We got the names in here of the people who asked questions for the episode. We're gonna draw one now for one of our Len Thompson Angling Spiders lures. Mix them up good. The winner this time of an Angling Spiders lure is Chef Spicy. There we go. So Chef Spicy, if you could send us your contact information by email at anglingspiders@gmail.com, we will get that sent out to you right away. I'm also going to introduce our next giveaway. We're going to do a giveaway for an Angling Spiders lure and a 3D printed lure. Yeah, I'm going to do a 3D printed lure again. So this one's open to everybody, and this one might run a little bit longer, probably into next month. We're going to draw 2 names for the next one, and to start out, what we want to do is hear from you guys. Is there anything that you guys would like us to feature in an upcoming episode? So maybe it's a product review, maybe there's a type of episode you want us to do. If you got any ideas, feel free to leave some comments below, and if you do, you'll put your name in for the draw. If you don't worry, we'll have some other things that you can use to enter into the draw from another episode, so that'll be coming up. So thanks again, everybody, appreciate it.
If you liked the video, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and until next time, good fishing.